Oh.
Hello, boys and girls.
Oh.
Welcome to Hive Scum.
The grim and gritty podcast for the 28 community.
The 28 community. We
Yeah.
love you guys.
We love you. Speaking of loving,
Who are you?
fuck.
Got him.
I am Gage at No Clear Coat.
I'm Steve at South of Heaven.
And I am Terry. I'm really not on Instagram anymore, so you can find me over at the In Rust We Trust Discord. Honestly, I only
At
use that.
stone.jaw, dude. You're still,
At the In Rust We Trust
you're still
Discord.
a brand. You're still an entity.
Yeah, you can go on there and see a post from probably 3 to 4 months ago.
A cool
okay.
doom wheel.
That's probably about the
Doom
frequency
Wheels,
I post.
I don't think they were posted, were they?
No.
You said you were going to last episode and you never did.
You don't have to. Don't do that. Just post them in... No, he posted them in Rust.
And all three of our listeners
Did I?
stopped
I don't know if
listening.
I thought you said you did.
I was going to, and then I forgot. And then I said,
That's
I'm going to do it. Don't worry, I'll remember. And then I listened to it while editing it,
And I went, oh shit, I got to do that.
and then I still didn't. See, the thing is,
What's the date?
listeners, I've broken away from the IG shackles. I'm no longer shackled by IG. Mm-hmm. And I realized that the only true people I want to see my minis are my freaking friends.
Wow.
Straight up.
It's the only people I care to see. Like, I'm going to bring them, and you guys are going to get to see them. And that rocks for me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really care if everybody else gets to see them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Selfish,
mean,
maybe.
Maybe.
But also, they're mine, man.
They're my toys.
They're my toys, and I want to share them with only the people that I love most.
I
And
understand
That's not
that.
you, listener.
That's
That's not
beautiful.
you, listener. Just kidding. I love you.
Yeah, it's... I saw a similar post today from someone that was like, I'm not sure what I want from this hobby anymor. With
You and me both, brother.
with the inclusion of like Instagram and like and like a Patreon type thing or something. They're like, I don't really care.
What do you mean?
It's
Like
a
they-
hobby, not a jobby type thing.
Oh, totally.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's like
Totally.
these are fun to show and it's fun to post so people can like relate to it.
Yeah.
But there's always that little bit of like, well, how else is it going to do? Like,
Totally.
will this person see it?
Totally.
Will this get shared 13 times?
I wonder if
14
this
times?
person will like it again. Wow.
Yeah, I hope.
Do you guys think that way?
I hope this person likes it.
Steve
No.
Jobs liked my last post.
Dude,
You
I
think
wish
he'll like
Steve
it
Jobs
again?
would like my post.
From the dead. Yeah. No, I don't give a shit about anything on Instagram.
Yeah.
There's a reason I repost just the stupidest things.
Well, it's funny.
Yeah,
But also,
if I had all my friends from Instagram just in a group chat or on Discord, like collectively, not like split amongst like multiple platforms, I
Yeah.
would love to delete Instagram.
yeah. The problem is, for the same reason why Terry hates it, is why it was created. It's meant to show pictures of your things to your friends.
yeah.
The problem with that is that the social interaction is always like, well, look at my salad. I'm better than people that aren't eating salads right now.
I do like salad.
I mean, yeah, and I look at a salad and I'll probably like it, but when when someone posts a cool model, I'm gonna like it and then it's gonna be gone.
Gone.
And then realistically, maybe if it's like the coolest thing I've ever seen, I'll come to the studio later and go, "Yo, Steve, Terry, did you see this crazy
or
model?"
maybe save it or something.
Yeah, or send it in the other group chat and being like, "Oh, this is a cool technique. We should rip it off or
Yeah.
like try it ourselves or anything." But that's it.
It is so fleeting.
And I think that's okay.
It is fine if you can understand
Yes.
that it is so fleeting. That the thing that you make, if you are only making that thing to post it on Instagram, nobody gives
That sucks.
a shit. Because
Yeah.
it's like that. But, you know, and that sounds super negative because I'm sure that there are people listening right now. They're like, I pretty much paint only for this online community of people who I know.
Well, no. They're doing it to share with their online community. They're not
Yes.
doing it to, oh my God, please.
appease them.
Yeah, please like me. Please interact with
Yeah,
me.
they might be. I don't know.
If you are, I don't like that. Wow.
And
yeah,
you
I-
should think better of
I
yourself.
disagree. Yeah, I don't know. The thing is, I started thinking this way mostly when I was making art, like 2D art, 2D, making making collages or making paintings or whatever, and I was having so much fun just making them and fucking around, and mostly just making mistakes and being bad and seeing what happened and just having fun pushing paint around. And then if it didn't come out good, I would flip the page and do a different one the next day, and it was great. You gonna throw that screw out?
Throw the screw into the electrical panel.
But then I started doing that, and dude, it's so freeing. It's so freeing to know that nobody else is going to see your weird little model, and that you can paint it however you want. And if you fuck up completely, or if you don't like it, it doesn't matter.
You can step on it.
You can stomp on it. And it's funny.
We should start taking videos of that instead.
Listeners, I want you to know. I think everyone probably had this in maybe high school. You had an art teacher. You create something, and then the next step of once you're done and you show it to the class, or not show it to the class, depending on your teacher's philosophy, you destroy it.
Yeah.
Terry the other day had this beautiful Space Marine that he showed. He was like, I bashed it in a day, and I just speed painted it.
Bashed it in 20 minutes.
Yeah,
it was
and
pretty
he's just showing it. He's like, he walks over to Steve and I and goes, look how cool this is. And we're like, wow, that's actually really cool. And then he drops it and stomps it as hard as he can.
And all of the bits came apart perfectly. Head,
reusable,
arms, everything.
Yep.
And I threw them all back in the bits.
Back in the bin. And I was like, wow,
back to where it came from. It's like a cycle of life thing. It's beautiful,
That's
man.
it.
It's beautiful.
You think someone will do that to me?
Yes, definitely. Some weird giant. Some weird lady giant just smushing you down.
To your previous point, the the whole idea of painting for you and not for and no one will ever see this type thing.
Yeah.
I get that, because the last couple of warband projects that I've had have been for an event, and then it's
that's
okay,
your war brand.
That's my war brand, and then I'll chill for 2-3 weeks, and then it's okay, now I gotta get ready for this event.
Yeah.
It's my own self-doing. I'm not complaining, but there is still that right now I'm having a blast with gouache.
Yeah.
It's fun. The wet blending is so cool. However, I would very much like to do not a warband right now. And I'm I gotta crunch. I gotta finish this Necropolis thing.
Yeah.
So I get that. I get that vibe.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not
Because specifically because I'm painting them so people can see them at the event.
exactly.
For your friends.
That's cool.
Yes.
It's for your friends. It's for an event that you're going for.
Yeah. It's a very a first world problem. I understand that I'm having the freedom to paint and do what I want. However, I would like it to not be under the restriction of an event right now.
I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah.
And I also don't want it to seem like I'm bashing people who do feel because the minis community on Instagram is very healthy, very cool.
Oh, yeah.
And there's so much cool
the
stuff.
best.
People are finding their own interesting styles, especially the 28 side of the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
People are trying something new things, posting it, and then people are giving them feedback on it.
Yep.
And that's cool because that can push you forward motivation wise. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. The problem comes when your satisfaction comes from other people
Yes.
telling you that you did a good job.
Yeah.
Or other people giving you those likes.
Right, like we were saying, please, I hope this person sees it.
I will say.
And not putting own personal thought into do I like the way that this looks like?
Absolutely. I mean, every time I post something on Instagram, which is seldom for an actual model post, I post it with zero intention of responding to anyone that comments on it, and it's always people just saying, "Wow, this is so great." And
Right.
I wish someone would tell me how bad it is, or you could have did this a little better, or give me some pointers.
Just
Tell me what I could have did better, because that's all I think about when I'm taking the photo.
I don't
What
know.
could I have done better on this model?
I don't know if random people giving me that though is what I want.
No, but then it's cool because I can start yapping back at them.
Actually, fuck you.
You want to fight?
Come find me. Let's go.
No, I get that, and I think
I get the being supportive for friend's sake and sport's sake.
Yeah.
there
But
is
if my models suck, if you lie to me and say it looks good when it sucks, because I can't do that.
that's every
If someone
model I've
sends me,
ever
if someone
painted.
sends me a model or check this out that I did, it's I will probably either not respond or
Wow.
I don't know. I have a hard time.
Block you.
No, I have a hard time being enthusiastic for things I genuinely am like, yeah, that's not for me.
Hey, man,
Yeah.
being honest is good. I don't think there's anything wrong with
So
being
please tell me my models suck if you think
Everybody
so.
go to South of Heaven and downvote all of his models.
Yes.
Say they suck, they're bad.
But the thing is, too, about miniature painting is everything is so subjective. Like, everything is...
exactly.
It depends.
I like my models.
Exactly. And, so that's really... And that's where it comes back to it, where it's just like, okay, why am I posting this for other people to see? Like, it's great to inspire others, and it's great to build a community, and it's great to get feedback from others, but I'm painting this because I want to paint this. And that's the only reason I'm painting this.
I mean, it's almost like a journal, like a photo journal is how I look at it. Like, oh, this model will now be remembered in this way for me.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I mean, that's probably a bad way to do it unless
No,
we
I
all
don't think
start
so.
like printing off pictures in case Instagram ever goes away. But like, I mean, not every model takes a great photo though.
No, I've heard about people like just like that, like a journal. They do it like a pin board almost. Like I did this, and I'm putting like this pin in it, so people can come to my page and then be like, okay, all the South of Heavens models. Like let's go through and be like, I really like that, I really like that, which I've done a ton. Canticus Trolley.
Yep.
I think.
Yep.
I will like regularly go, or I used to when I was on Instagram. I would regularly go to his page and then just be like, oh, I want to take that idea. Oh, that's a really cool idea. And there's other people too that I would just
Pax
take ideas
Acrylica,
from.
just going through his backlog like of green stuff sculpted and painted models is crazy.
Yeah. It is a good documenting resource.
Totally.
I use it when it was mostly because I don't have a personal account. I use it for hobby and personal, whatever.
Yeah.
Mostly when I started using Instagram, it was only for trips. So when I was in BMX, it was like, okay, we rode Albany. All the pictures from Albany are this one post. And then I kind of have carried that into the hobby side of it.
Yeah.
But every now and then it'll be like, I'm proud of this project, I'm going to post it. But most of my posts are like, here's Nemo, here's Hondius, here's whatever, because of that journaling aspect.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a blog too. It's
Exactly.
in a way. It's pretty much the same.
You could
thing.
just get a blog.
I could, but I don't know.
No, blogs have their own.
You guys want to know a little secret?
whole
Blogs
different
suck.
thing.
You guys want to know a little secret? I, for 5 months now, have been paying for a website registered for In Rust.
Not using it.
Never set up the site.
Well, hey,
And
listen.
what do you need the site for? You think?
A redirect.
Like,
And I was going to use it for the blog, but also a redirect for...
Because then you could just put www.inrustwetrust.
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
it just come to the Discord.
Yep.
Because that's really what you want out of this website.
Pretty much.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the blogs are good too in their own way. I think
Absolutely.
that Instagram is good in its own way. It ended up not being for me, and so but I don't want to be a hater on other people who really love it. Blogs I really love, but the downside of blogs is like,
Upkeep.
maybe 30 people are going to read my post.
That's cool.
But it is cool. And if you're going to a page to look at a blog, you're going to read it. It's not just going to be seeing a
Yes.
picture and not doing it. So I'd rather have 30 people engage with the posts I make rather than...
Well, I don't think that's true either, actually.
Yeah, I go to blogs all the time and just go
And scroll through.
copy picture, send to group chat. Look at this.
Well, that's fine too.
Yeah, there's that
I think that's fine.
miniature like diorama model guy. I can't think of his name. It starts with a K. He's like a 28 guy, and he has like a crazy blog. It's saved to my desktop at home, and I can't think of what his name is right now, but I've definitely sent it to the group chat before.
I
Okay.
don't know.
I don't know, but
Agent
blogs
K.
are cool. Love reading people's like long-winded
Yeah.
blog posts. Like it's great.
Yeah.
I wrote a fucking battle report for my blog.
I was gonna
that
say, battle
no
reports
one-
are better.
That no one looks at that.
But it's like, it's richer. I think it's richer. But once again, then nobody reads it. And you're
Yeah.
like, well, was this a waste of time?
No,
But
because it's
that-
also a window into it's a time capsule.
Yes. Totally.
Because that website will now be there forever. Because
Yeah.
even if I lose my domain name, the website is a free WordPress website that will just exist indefinitely.
And it won't get buried by like Instagram stuff.
Yes.
And people might not see it because there's so much content that's coming in. Like this thing exists. Yeah. Gage is going, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. There's no real difference in that regard. To yes, you're not seeing things in the. It depends on how you use it, right? Instagram.
Yeah.
If you use Instagram as a tool, if you check it every single morning and every single night, you're going to get a different vibe than if someone who goes on it going, well, I want to look up the full camera hashtag, so I'm just going to go look at full camera right now. And then you're getting redirected to the greats of our hobby, and then looking at their page just like you would a blog. You're going, okay, well, what has Band House miniatures sculpted in the last month? Let's check everything he's done.
Yeah, and what can I steal from there? Let me get inspiration directly from this person, and rather than just seeing like whatever pops up.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
I definitely do that. Like,
yeah, it's. I think we're all collectively saying the same thing, where it's the checking it every single morning to be like, okay, what did I miss? What did I miss? That's the bad way to use the tool.
Or it's just like it's a lot. It takes a lot more upkeep, and there's a lot more just like you're
live leak videos, just making it on Instagram.
Yeah. I mean, you're dealing with a lot more like slough. Also the ads,
Slough.
dude.
I've never heard that word.
Where does slough come from?
Slough? Phil, what do you think? Phil, where does the word slough come from? Well,
I thought you were gonna just let it be silent for a minute. I thought that would have been pretty funny.
Pour one out for Phil.
At the end, just Phil's mic wasn't plugged in.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know where we got all those things. Just I'm not using Instagram. But head on over to the In Rust We Trust Discord for more conversations, better pictures than Instagram, and
better discussions.
Yeah, better discussions for sure.
Papa John's.
Papa John's. I'm not advertising.
Fuck. You ever have Papa Gino's?
Oh yeah,
that shit rocks.
Oh yeah.
Now you had sort of mentioned it, Gage, but what have you been working on?
Gouache. I'm mostly on my box now. I'm leaving for Necropolis. By the time you guys hear this, I would have already been back. But I'm leaving in 2 days, and I have to finish my travel case.
Will he do it?
Will he do
I
it?
will. I'm working at a college tomorrow. I'm going to make the new kid do 100% of everything.
While you paint in your car?
While I probably paint in the lobby. Where do you think... There's a question for listeners and you guys. Where do you think the carry case box diorama thing kind of started?
The Grillet?
Yeah. But do you think that was specifically for carry cases? Because I believe she was making...
those are diorama pieces.
Right, those were diorama pieces.
I don't know.
I think the first one I was exposed to was totally not Matt.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the first one I was too.
Did Matt make a carry case
for
diorama
Nemo?
box?
Yeah. It was fucking beautiful. It had like a teeth... like fence line and like a bone, I think from the Bone Force box, and like a little house. It's for the original Nemo.
Yes.
I'm sure, Chime and Matt, I'm sure Matt got it from somebody else, and I'm sure this is probably kind of a long-standing history of people who make like custom carry cases.
I mean, I made a custom carry
Blanche
case
did.
in 2018 for my D&D character.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
It was like
You made us those little cases for Christmas?
Little dioramas.
Christmas,
2 years ago?
Yeah.
that's my favorite thing on my desk.
Yeah.
The little Nuln line, dude.
You know?
I love it.
Blanche did that though, it's like an old Blanchitsu section in a White Dwarf.
Yeah.
There's his case.
I don't doubt it. I mean, that's the thing. It's cool because terrain building, although I don't do it enough, is such a different muscle to like stretch than...
I fucking love it.
Yeah, and the last 4 events I've gone to now, I've made a box to accompany the warband. And yes, especially with the time frame of how I work on things, it's more to do, but I love it. I'm just like, well, what would these little guys do? Like I was talking about last episode, like the moldy castle boys. So
it's nice having it match your like
the warband,
warband,
and it's also going back to the Instagram talk. It's a good background for your photos.
Yes,
just instant scene set.
I've never made a box.
They're very
That's
fun.
a fucking lie.
Right? No, I don't think
you did.
I did.
They were in an art show.
You put it in a fucking art show.
Well, the box, but never a box to hold miniatures. I made like little diorama boxes or whatever, but they were never boxes to hold miniatures specifically.
Yeah.
You guys are always doing that. Paul's making a really cool one right now. You're making it for Necropolis.
I told Paul, I said, listen, I don't want to say, I don't want to set the precedent here, but Steve and I both made boxes for the last event. This is just like, this is our crew now. This is New England War Council shit. And he goes, I guess I'll fucking make one then.
I did one for the last war campaign.
Yeah.
I found that World War II first aid box.
In the fucking like drill index type material.
Yeah.
it's cool. It's fun.
They're fun.
No, yeah, I've never done it before, but now I have to. I feel like now I have to. Next time there's going to be like a small event or something, maybe for Nemo. I would really love to make another Mordheim warband.
Make a Skaven.
What are you thinking about?
Maybe.
And
I
then
mean,
it
I
could
could do
join your
Skaven.
army.
I mean, honestly, that's like probably the best idea, and that would be
And
a really
it would be
cool
cool
way.
thematic guys in the army.
Yes, and I probably have some dudes that I could like help tell their story from a smaller scale that would then feed into the larger scale, which would be pretty
Tunnel
cool.
diggler guys.
Yeah,
But don't burn yourself out.
I know.
Don't burn yourself
I
out.
know. I can't burn myself out. No, but I would love the Mordheim warband that I made 2 years ago at this point, maybe 3 years ago at this point.
Your Lich one.
My Lich.
The Restless Dead.
Yeah, and it was great. I had a blast making it, but it's like it very much shows like this was at the beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all kit bashed. They're all pretty neat. Like I'm definitely not bummed about them in any way, but looking at them, I'm like, well, I could do better now, and I'm not like they never fed into my AOS army, which I think would be cool if they fed into the AOS army. I do think it would be neat to kind of have them feed into a larger army.
It's not too late.
No, and it's not too late for that either, but I would love to make a new one because I think it would just be fun. And then in that case, I would make a box.
It's just a fun project.
Totally.
Yeah, and then the box is also another way to stretch.
Where did you get your box? What's in your box?
So I'll tell all listeners right now, this is my little hack. I've done it now for the last 3 events. Hobby Lobby or Michael's or Dollar General. They have like learn to paint kits, and they'll have like gouache or oil or whatever in them. They're always in a stained nice box with hinges, brass hinges, a little lock on the front. The kits are like $8.
They're not too flat?
No,
Things fit in
because
there?
you rip all the fucking materials on the inside out, and then you have a wooden box.
It's not a bad idea.
No, and especially like Hobby Lobby always has them on sale.
I have a question.
Yes.
Have you test fit your models with
Yes.
bubble wrap on them in the little
I'm
box?
probably not bubble wrapping them.
No, let them bang around. Come on,
Yeah.
dude. We have
Going
to.
to the event?
Yes, both.
Yeah.
We have to move
it.
away from protecting our models.
You're insane.
We protect our models too much, people. It's Ziploc bags or nothing, people.
Yeah, I mean, my models went to Croatia in toilet paper, and they were fine.
Toilet paper.
They
It's
were
totally
fine.
That's how I shipped my Secret Santa out to Z-Man. Was just wrapped in toilet paper.
That's it.
It's fine. Toilet paper is great packing material.
Yeah,
Fantastic packing
absolutely. Yeah, I'll probably just do toilet paper again in the box. I'm also making this box like stick out with different shapes and stuff, so they have to be oriented a special way in this one. Texas, they were in a fucking toilet paper thing.
My guys are definitely bouncing around in the...
Yeah, let them bounce, dude. Let
Fucking
them
whatever.
bounce around. See, this is where I've gone back to when we talked about first playing at Wild Bill's way back in the day. I would just roll up.
You were bag of
cardboard
orcs guy.
box full of orcs, dump them out on the table, and then I started painting. Dude,
And Bill would say, man, I love that.
yeah, he would say, I love that. And I loved it too because I thought it was real like wild card shit. And then I started getting serious about my miniature painting. And I started painting these orcs to a pristine level. And now I'm at the point where I'm like, what am I doing? With
Smashing
these?
Marines on the
Like,
floor.
Come on. Like, what the fuck? What do I think? What am I so precious with these little orcs? So now they're back in Ziploc bags. Now I have
Yeah.
a bag of Shooter Boys, a bag of Slugga Boys, a bag of Ludas.
I think that's an orc thing, though.
It is kind of an orc thing, but also, dude, what's the worst that's going to happen? Your thing's going to get nicked and it's going to show a little piece of gray
Yes.
on there. You will never
Put
notice
3
that.
coats of varnish on it.
You could
That'll
do that.
never happen.
Yeah, still mania, baby. I mean, and that is something.
Honestly, that I would do big gallon bags if I 3-coat lacquered them.
Dude, it's a cool look. It's a pretty neat look as the super high gloss because it's very old school
I'm
looking.
not talking about doing high gloss.
No high gloss, dude. If you look at the old Blanche minis, I've sent pictures where they're just like crazy kit bashes, and it'll be like a tentacle, but the tentacle is checkered. It has like polka dots at the end, and you're like, this is some insane thing off like just some giant's head, and the goblin green base, and then it's just shiny as hell.
Shiny as hell. The
And you're like,
opposite of
that looks kind of cool.
And the opposite of that, little hobby hack from PMC Illustration Paige. She uses Mod Podge to seal all her models because it's
Just Mod Podge?
extra matte.
It is extra matte. You can buy it extra matte.
Yeah.
make sure you buy the extra matte.
Yeah, make
one.
sure you don't get the gloss one that everyone has.
But there's also regular matte Mod Podge.
Yes.
So I can't get regular matte. It's got to be the
You could
extra
just,
matte.
You could just get matte.
The matte's
Okay,
fine.
thank you.
Just not gloss.
I
I
feel
don't
like
know if I would do that. I feel like it would crust up my models, too
Right?
much. Yeah, it's very thick.
I have to. I'm going to have to test this out
Yeah,
because
test it out.
I bet you if you stab it, if you use sort of a stabbing
motion and add a little water to it.
maybe a little
But then you got to be careful with the gouache.
Listen,
Don't get them started on the gouache.
You'll fuck that shit up with water.
Now,
You know
like-
what? You should go do it. Everyone
Yeah.
here should go test it.
You've been fucking with the gouache.
I've been.
I have the same kit that you have. I've never really messed with
Yep.
it. It's the cheapo one from
$5 from
Artist
$5,
color from Michaels.
and it's our friend. It's what Evan. Shout out.
Yep.
He uses that gouache.
Not
right?
anymore. He's off the stuff. But
Evan, how could you?
I know, pay the tax in a different way, I guess.
What, he's probably paid $15 for his set now. Is he made of money?
Probably. But no, it's just blending is like you don't have to use a
What's the brush?
you don't have to use a brush. What's the non
Water?
Paper towels?
thinner?
Thinner.
Why would you use thinner?
No, what's the fucking the
Thinner.
Mineral spirits?
The extender?
the extender? Yes, you can use an extender to get your regular acrylics extended, more more blendy.
Yep.
However, gouache is just you're already in it.
Yeah.
You're doing it, and then just a dab of water, and then it's just like it flows beautifully. And I've been having so much fun, just like I don't know, I'm just gonna blend the fuck out of this, and then just do the boldest highlight after the fact.
So you're doing it kind of thin, like wash consistency?
Kind of.
Kind of. A little bit thicker?
Yeah. So these guys are like pretty plate mailed up. I'm like all the rusty spots. I'm just kind of stabbing.
Oh, yeah. Gotta give him a
I mean,
good stabbing.
you guys saw the brush I was using.
Yes. Oh, listener, you should see this thing. It's more of a fan style brush at this point. It's so splayed out and garbage looking.
But it was fun.
You did it good.
And it worked. It
You
worked
did
great.
good with it.
So yeah, I mean that's the thing. And I was actually messaging Martin today about it because he posted like this huge canvas he's doing for 28 with the watercolor. And I was like, dude, just like the way he was moving, I was like, that just looks fun.
Yeah.
Painting's fun.
Yeah, and I was like, I want to do it on a canvas. And I think I've said this like probably 3 times in the history of Hive Scum, but like
We should have paint night.
I would love to do paint night. I would love to use gouache in a large style format.
Totally.
We all go get a canvas.
Yeah.
We do a
I'm
little
down.
We could make a canvas. We could
should.
do
Yeah.
canvas make night.
Dude, we were talking about ways to supplement income and
Supplement income.
Who was?
Yeah, me and Gage have a
yeah.
game plan
We got a
going
game
on
plan.
right now. Noise guy stuff.
a little paint night though.
a little paint
I like
night.
paint night.
We got paint.
We got nights.
We could buy. We got nights. We could get canvas, dude. Charge $10 at the door. Everyone comes in and paints.
dude. It'd be kind of cool.
That'd be kind of cool.
And then we
Zeros
open
and
our
paint.
own.
Coke Zeros and paint.
Oh,
dude.
God. We open
This
our own.
is the kind of place that
paint
you
bar.
could be like, oh yeah, paint bar.
1000%.
And we
Yeah.
all have to paint the exact same thing over and over again. It's got to be the most simple painting
It's a
of all
Coke
time.
Zero,
It's a Coke Zero
with
can.
light shining on one angle.
Yep,
You have to do
beautiful.
the shadow. Yeah,
No, I don't know. That would be pretty neat.
it would be.
But I think the noise show is a cool.
I think the noise
idea.
show-
That would be neat.
We'll definitely make
You
more
know what
money
I
than
mean?
paint night.
Yeah, we're sort of swirling. That's a swirling idea that me and Gage have just started talking about. Anyways, though, going back to gouache, so use it as like a thicker, slightly thicker than wash consistency, and you
Yes.
do it over a zenithal.
3 out of the 4 models I did not zenithal. I just did a heavy like white dry brush over a
did-
black prime.
Ice yellow, though, right?
I did ice yellow rather than white.
Dude, so here's the thing. Ice Yellow is always sold out from our local game store. I can't tell you the last time I bought a paint online. Mm-hmm. It's always been just like whatever you call them, impulse buys
Yeah,
when it comes
yeah.
to paint. I've always wanted Ice Yellow, and they've never had Ice Yellow at our normal spot. Which,
Well,
head
yeah.
over to the Patreon if you want to hear why it's not our normal spot anymore.
The beauty of me traveling so much for work is I hit a lot of game stores. So
That's true.
I will keep an eye out
Yeah,
for
yeah.
ice yellow for you.
Totally, because I was like, well, you know what I mean? It's one of these things where all of these like painting YouTubers are like, this is, you gotta have the ice yellow for universal highlighting color. And I have always been like, do I really need it? Do I really need it? Do I really need it? But I've always been ice yellow curious. And so this is like seeing you do it. I was like, dude, there is a reason why ice yellow looks so good, because it popped,
especially on the skeleton guys, because the super watery white with gouache, it just blended the whole bone part just perfectly, and I went, okay, that's done. Just one coat. I was like, okay, who cares?
Dude, I want to see. This is the paint night. Paint night should be painting models, dude. I want to see how you do this. I want to
bring your model
along with you.
Bring your model.
Bring your model. We have the paint.
Yeah.
We have the paint. We have the model.
Yeah.
That's it.
You
Painting
do the work.
with Terry.
Yeah. Or Gage. I want Gage to do it.
Yeah, let me teach a painting.
Come on, you could teach this. I want to know
Guys, I don't
more
know
about
what
gouache.
this color is. I don't know how to get to it. I just bought this shit for $5, and you just do this. It's cool.
Yeah, that's what I want to see. Listen, you'll learn more from some mother. Like, honestly,
Oh, yeah.
I almost guarantee that, like, instead of like a YouTube video that's like, I'm going to show you how to base coat, shade, layer, highlight. I'm going to show you how to do this. You've seen 10 trillion videos doing the same exact thing. I'm going to show you again. Getting some like random motherfucker who's like, I've never watched a YouTube video. I don't really know how this is done. I just try my best to put paint onto a mini. You will probably learn more from this person who has no idea what they're doing rather than somebody who's just copying the GW paint recipe from 2008.
Well, if you would like to learn from someone like that at Under the Dice Fest, you can take Terry's class.
That is true. I'm a little nervous about teaching a class, guys.
You're a teacher.
You're a teacher.
Well, I'm not nervous about the teaching part of it. I'm nervous about, like, what the hell am I even going to teach?
Make a lesson plan.
Well, no, I'm not going to make a lesson plan. Listen.
No,
dude.
for your nerves. I'm saying.
Yeah, for you.
No, I don't care. I'm not nervous. The thing is, I'm not.
I'm a little nervous.
Well,
I'm not nervous.
Okay, I'm not nervous about the teaching part. What it's like. I could teach a whole lesson on anything. You want me to teach a freaking lesson on anything? I can teach it. I can pull it out of my ass. I'll make it work. However, I'm like, how do I even paint? I don't even know how I really paint.
That's what I'm saying. Make a lesson plan for yourself.
Break it down.
Come on.
I mean, but like it's different every time. This is the problem. Is like when I paint, it
That's
is
good,
different every single time.
Perfect. So when you sit down and show all these people, that's one way that Terry
Yeah.
I mean,
paints
I
a
guess,
model.
and that's really like the only.
And then
that's-
next year, you take the class again, you get a different way.
That's how I've been like kind
Very
of
lucrative.
thinking about it. Is like when I sit down with a model, the model looks a certain way. You know, it's like probably zenithal, or like what I've been doing is just, you know, like you were saying, dry brushing over black. And then from there, it's just like, I guess we're going to try and make this skin look more like this color. Okay, the paint's a little wet. Let's try and jam in this while it's still a little wet. Oh, it wasn't wet enough? That's fine.
Yeah.
I'll try and dry
That
brush
rocks.
it. Let me hit it with a heat gun. Let me do this. Oh, I'm going to put some polka dots on the
Yeah.
back. No, I don't really like the polka dots. What if I like kind of connect all those polka dots with a micron pen? Okay, I'm going to do this. It's like there's no rhyme or reason to what I'm doing. I'm just sitting there going like, I guess that would be cool. Let me try this shit out. And now I'm like, how am I going to teach that to people? They're going to come in and I'm going to be like, well, first you just stop caring.
Yeah.
And you don't worry
Stop
about
caring
what
and
it's going to
start
look like
wet
at the
blending.
end, and you just start pushing paint around.
That's
That's
it.
the lesson.
The power of the highlight.
The power of the highlight. Honestly, that's pretty much it. Just highlight the face, people.
Yeah.
And you've taken my course if you could learn how to highlight a face. Anyways, yes. Though you can take my lesson, take my class at
Under the Dice Fest 25.
plus some other classes. We'll get into all of that later, though. We'll get into all of that
Probably
another
next episode.
It's
Well,
coming up. It's coming up.
So
Yeah, when does this go live?
this goes live the weekend prior to. So this comes out the 26th.
I think I don't know at some point.
Yeah, I think it's the 26th. This
So
will be out
tickets will go on sale on the
that week.
31st.
Yeah, that week. So by the time you hear this, you'll have like 5 days to think about what you want to do at Under the
Yeah,
Dice Fest.
well, you know, yeah.
Which there will be no real preview. It's going to be you go to the website, you see what you want to get, and if it's available, it's available.
That's it. There'll be Nemo. There'll be classes. There'll be music. There'll be
There's
friends.
a couple events. War Master.
Yep, War Master Tournament.
Regiments too.
I'm doing the Regiments GT.
Yeah.
First one, I think, in existence. I better start getting royalties. You
I
hear
know,
me?
dude.
If you listen to this, the guy that writes one-page rules,
Mr. Page rules.
Mr. Page rules, I want my check.
Yeah.
You know how many people I got to sub to your Patreon?
Well, we can get to that in the main topic.
I know.
Yeah, that's a good segue.
Yeah.
But we haven't talked about what Steve's been up to.
That's
Well,
true.
is that all you've been up to, though, Gage?
No, what I've been up to is waiting to hear what Steve's been up to.
Yes, I know. Me too. On bated breath. Go ahead, Steven. What you been up to?
Wait, we talked about what you've been doing?
No.
No.
We're going to you first.
Okay.
I'm trying to guide it away from me.
Okay. What have I been doing? I haven't been doing anything. I've been doing
Come on.
nothing with myself.
That's not true. You did all the rules.
This is literally what Steve says every
time.
lesson,
And then
it's
go,
like,
no, that's not true.
oh, you did this, 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 and you wrote an entire game.
You updated all the things for your campaign.
The War Council campaign book has been updated and fixed. I'll probably post those rules somewhere at some point for people to use. That or it'll
Possibly
be
on
the
the
dice.
patreon.com/Hivescum.
That would be pretty cool.
I can put them up there too.
The campaign's off to a smashing success.
It's off to a good start. Out of everyone that was in it, I think only one person potentially didn't play, and it's just because I haven't heard back from them yet.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah,
I
it's
hope
been
they're
good.
okay.
I'm
Yeah.
sure they're fine. Everyone's played their games. We had a slight rules change.
Yep.
If you show up with an unpainted model,
That's not.
you get beat up.
You get
That's
the boot.
People are still playing with unpainted models. I will start screaming.
Listen,
within
they
the
don't need
next
to be
2 weeks.
painted well.
No.
Listeners in the
No, no,
Regiment's
no.
campaign, they don't need to be painted well.
All of our immediate friends that we could just simply text
Yes.
that are listening right now.
I guess that's true. I'll just message you over there.
Yeah, it's been very fun. It's been good. I got to get some games in coming up. I think Friday I'm going to play some regiments with good old Maggot Ian.
beautiful.
And take him down a peg or two because he won, I believe, all of his games.
The tactician.
The tactician, but he wasn't playing me. You know, he played Brad, the guy who's
0-4.
0-4, right?
But he's for 4 in our hearts.
Always
Yeah, Brad's
Listen,
one
Brad-
of the most beautiful human beings.
greatest guy. I have nothing but good things to say about Bradley, even though he's not good at being a tactician. It's okay.
Anyways, what else you been working on?
I got the cover art back for Flames of Orion.
Looks sick.
It looks
It's
insane.
insane.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Now, can you post that anywhere?
I could, but I'm not going to.
don't,
I'm going to wait
don't,
until the
don't,
book is
don't.
ready. I have to find if anyone out there is listening and you know, or you yourself are a text artist or can do fonts or a logo. Let me know because I need one. Because I have one, but it doesn't fit the image. It doesn't look good, and I want something that can go down the spine too.
Okay.
Although it probably won't fit on the spine because of how few pages there are. I've been plucking away at the rules, getting some minor adjustments.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what else could possibly be needed on
There's
it?
just small
little
bits. Well, because we played Traveler with Brian.
So we played
Brian-
Traveler the other day, and Steve was like, "Oh my god, I just came up with a rule for my game."
Yeah,
No more,
Well,
Steve.
no,
no more.
I see things he did with his book, and I was like, man, this just feeds into my bullshit because now I want to go back to my book and do that cool thing,
Yeah.
and it just gives me a lot of ideas of ways I can better represent certain things in the game and certain items and the way things interact with each other, and so it doesn't change the game dramatically, but it changes it enough in my head where I'm like, that item was useless, and now it's not going to be useless, and now it's going to be cool and fun. Or adding charts or adding a little narrative blurb. And so it's been a lot of that. People keep asking for updates of the rules, and I keep saying, no, you'll get them when they're done. Because
Yeah.
I'm kind of sick of putting out 0.8. 0.85
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's well, you guys got a free game and you got to test it, so when the real game comes out you guys can you guys had your fun and it'll be available in a PDF, but to keep updating it for everyone has been kind of not a headache, but it's taken a lot of steam out of me, so I'm trying to just focus on finishing it and putting it out, and if you want it, it'll be there.
Do you have an estimated date that it'll come out?
Well, I was really stressing about the cover art. I thought it was going to take
Totally,
forever. And
yeah.
it actually came back really fast. And so now it's oh, well, now I got to find a quick logo because it doesn't really fit with what I have, and finish the edits, send them off to the editor, and then...
Yeah, I feel like you're now at the stage where you either do it or it'll never be done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Everything else can be in a supplement. But
And then later on, the supplement or version 2.
Yeah.
And then add the supplement into that, or it's a special hardcover. Or whatever.
I always worry about putting out a product that's not like, I know I could have done more. I wanted to do more. It feels bad putting something out that is going to cost money that people are going to buy for me to just in my head know it's not done.
But that's the dilemma of like learning.
Yeah.
You're going to get better and
yeah.
better and better as you do it, and then realize where I started isn't as good as it could be.
Yes.
However, sometimes the flaws and sometimes the shakiness is actually a feature. You know what I mean? Like the crudeness, quote unquote, because it's like Ben, I'm sure, super polished at this point, is like, it's neat in itself. You know, maybe people, they tweak their own rules based on something that you kind of left more obscure and that you may not have touched on fully.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't worry too much about.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing like we were talking about earlier about the hoodies. Like it's your thing, and you know what's wrong.
You know what's wrong with it,
Yeah.
but no one else does. But
right.
But then you get one person who sends you a feedback form filled with a million things, saying a million questions, like what does this mean on this sentence, or what does right here you're missing a thing, or I don't understand this piece, and it's like, well, I think that people that have questions like that are just going to be,
they're going to do that to anything.
You're not playing this game, and I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I don't care. You should all play my silly little game because it's very fun.
Do you think it's possible to have it done for Adepticon?
That is that's the push right now.
Oh, that would be so
the
cool,
goal.
Steve.
I think it has to be.
Oh, that would be so cool. It would be, and it would be good for you to be like, this is the deadline. I need copies to sell at the event.
That's always the
72 days now?
Yeah, if I do that, if I put 72 days, or I put 60 days till this book has to be in my hands.
Yeah.
That will, that usually does it.
Yeah.
And then I'll wait until 10 days, and then I'll just do it.
Exactly.
Then I will do everything.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what it usually comes down to.
Which would be pretty neat.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
Well, I'm also juggling doing Under the Dice issue 7.
Yeah.
Which doesn't need to be out for Adepticon. I just wanted it out for Under the Dice Fest.
I was going to say, you should have it out for our fest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice to have it at
Yes,
Adepticon, because Adepticon, people are there, people see the stuff.
And people like to buy those.
People
things
love
there
to buy those
because there's
things.
not a lot of zines and little guy stuff there.
No.
But if they had a sick mech game to buy instead,
Yeah. Yeah,
true.
you might want to focus on that first.
Yeah. That's the way it is.
Yeah. Anything else you've been working on? Painting anything?
No, I'm doing the same stuff. I finished those halberdiers.
So you
for my-
painted 20 guys the other day.
Yeah.
It's 10. There's 10 of them.
But they're good looking dudes.
Well, so that army,
some
I've come to
good-looking
realize, I keep wanting to sit down and take pictures of, because I have so much stuff over there I've never taken a photo of, or I've never posted a photo of, because
There's a
I was
lot
like,
of
I
shit.
could take a better photo of that. And there's a lot of stuff in that case. And the Empire Army, I was like, I should really take a cool old school style photo of them on a green pitch battlefield with hills and a little castle. And every time I take a photo of them, I'm like, these look really bad in a photo. These look so bad in a photo.
It's you in your own head.
Yes,
Well,
it is.
Paul sent that
1000%.
photo the other day of the models on a movement tray, and I immediately went, yeah, I'm going to throw those out as soon as I get to the studio.
No, dude, it is 1000% in your own head, because it's like this is where shit gets so weird. Us talking about Instagram before, where it's I think that you've seen all the ins and outs of those models, but if you were to post them, they could be really inspirational for people to see. Your skin tone on those guys, the weird Karenberg crimson wiped off.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that and being like, holy shit, dude, that's the effect I've been trying to get for so long, and you did it with just one shade.
Yeah.
And it's just holy crap, man, that's crazy, because I've been trying to get that.
Well, thank you, and now you have it.
Yeah.
Because it's really easy.
I
That
know.
whole army was very easy to paint.
But other people will see that shit and be like, oh man, if I was going to do Averland, I would highlight those little spots too, or I would maybe do the sleeves
they're
like
not
this
going
or
to be
whatever.
now, because Steve asked everyone to say mean comments on his stuff.
Yeah, please
Yeah.
say mean things.
This looks bad. Actually, that would be a funny little bit, is if you were in the know with Steve's stuff, if you're a real friend,
This sucks.
you'll say this sucks and this is trash. That would be
Do you think
really
people
funny,
would
but-
jump on just to jump on like that?
Maybe it'd be
That'd
like
be kind of cool.
everybody else is saying it. You're garbage, Steve. We hate you. Oh, cool. I got it.
So right now, though, to take that photo of those models, I really want to get like a backdrop, like a classic sky blue backdrop, like we used to have in the studio. Maybe it needs to be significantly bigger, though.
Yeah, what happened to that one?
I think we threw it away.
Or we painted something else over it.
No, I'm pretty sure you broke it over your knee and then threw it away.
It sounds like Steve.
Yeah. But it needs to be. You know what? That's probably about the right size.
Yeah, just paint the electrical panel.
Yeah, Steve is pointing at the broken electrical panel that Phil broke 2 episodes ago, and now there's
looks like
just
a good
exposed
size.
wires in our face where we're recording. But yeah, it would be honestly a perfect little plywood piece.
Have you? I know you're a thrifter. Have you seen any big ass paintings?
Oh, that's a great
There's
idea.
a ton of big ass paintings all the time.
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
Totally.
I could do that. I could just get canvases and paint
deframe
right over
the
them.
fucking thing. I wouldn't even
Don't even
paint
deframe it. Just freaking.
Well, yeah. I just meant so you can get more of like a roll.
Well, because normally it's a big flat canvas and there's no edge. It's like the canvas spread right over it, like a normal paint on canvas. You see those all the time at Savers.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Spend the $10 and then paint a backdrop over it.
Yeah.
There you go.
But I want Paul to print that castle or finish printing that castle because that's what I want that to be like the background.
What they're defending.
Was it like a big siege castle kind of thing?
It's what it looks like that he's printing. If it's not, I'm gonna have him print because I really want to make like a makeshift Helm's Deep to like be able to build in the studio. But you know,
I think we still have to do a rite of passage. Just build Helm's Deep.
I think about it every day.
Yeah.
Wait,
Not even joking.
We
every
should do
day.
We
it.
need to.
We should do
Like
it.
we could make even if we like build it in sections where you can like move it off the board. Like here's the Hornburg. It's all one big piece, and then they have the outer wall.
We have to.
Listen, Jacob would lose his mind.
We have to.
We should do it. We should do it. We should figure it
rite
out.
of
We should come up
passage.
with a game plan. We should figure out and just do
We'll
the
invite
damn thing.
Lockie, Zorpazorp out here.
I'm sure
Yeah.
he'll totally want to come here.
Yeah,
and do that.
pay $5,000 to fly here.
I'm not paying him to come here.
No,
he wants to
he
come
will
here.
pay. He will
it's,
pay.
it's under the grace of our good nature
Yeah,
that he's
yeah.
allowed here.
Dude. And speaking of honestly, some YouTube people, the Eric's Hobby Workshop making the Wargaming Hills video.
Oh,
I didn't watch it yet.
No,
You sent it, but I wanted
It was
to
like a
watch it.
random thing. I was like, I'll throw it on. I'm eating lunch or whatever at work. I'll throw this thing on. I didn't expect it to be as cool as it was. And he like really, he put some thought into making these usable
Hills.
and looking good. I mean, who would have thought that like, because I was like, Hills, come on.
Yeah.
Well,
Hills.
we have hills. Ian made us a bunch of. They're pretty good hills.
Right.
Yeah.
Classic
You got to
hills.
watch this Eric's Hobby Workshop.
It was just like a good video. I don't know. Like
Yeah.
it
He also changed up his normal style of YouTube kind of
Yes.
halfway through it.
Oh
I
my
was
God,
like,
it was
what
so
the fuck
cool.
is this?
yeah, random editing shit in there. It's
he did
fun.
that on the last video too. I thought
He goes like real memey like in the middle of it.
It's so fun.
he did something really funny on the video that I watched last of his. And
The
I can't
Hills
remember-
one.
Was it the hills?
Yeah.
Was it like a month ago he put it out?
yeah, like 2-3 weeks ago.
Oh, then I already saw this video
Yeah,
because
yeah.
the meme thing. I instantly messaged him and I was like, "This is the funniest thing you've ever
It's
done."
great. It's like, oh,
crazy.
cool. Finally, YouTubers are like learning how to have fun and not just punishing themselves and banging their head into the wall.
Please
making this.
buy the new Army Painter Blanche set. We
yeah.
all got it for free.
Yeah,
Is the
everybody
Blanche set
knows
good?
it.
Like, are the colors actually like?
Yeah, you could go to Michael's and buy the colors for 29 cents.
No. I know. That's not what I'm saying.
No
That's
hate
not what
on
I'm
it.
saying. Because I think the concept of taking the Blanche palette
Yeah.
from like,
Mud.
yeah, sure. Like you'd look at those old Blanchitsu articles in the White
Yeah.
Dwarf, and it had a very distinct Blanche palette, the Zorn palette.
Yeah.
Putting that in a paint set makes a lot of sense because a
Yeah.
lot of people want to
Yes.
try emulating that. And
That's all paint sets. You could paint like Louise if you buy this special.
yeah, you
ultramarine
buy
blue.
these neon color,
Yeah.
whatever. Like I don't think
That's
there's
marketing.
anything really wrong with
No,
that.
no. I think that's fine. I'm
I'm
talking
the
about
market for that. I would buy that.
right,
Yeah.
and they're cool.
Yeah.
I'm just fucking fed up with the saturation of just everyone under the sun is like, this is it. Finally,
We're all at the zoo looking through the bars.
finally
at
we have a
John Blanche.
solution for grimdark, and it was in front of us this whole time. We just had to capitalize on John Blanche.
And
I
you
don't.
know-
I don't say that despairingly about John Blanche. He's
No.
an icon.
dude, come on, our whole
He's
freaking
literally.
we would not be in this room right now if it wasn't for him.
I'm saying that about the community at
Yeah.
large outside.
we
of him.
all
Yeah,
understand
yeah.
that, but yeah, no, the poke the stick through the fucking cage at John Blanche, I think, is getting
gonna
old.
move?
Yeah.
do something.
people putting
Yeah.
out like, oh, Games Workshop should have done this. He worked there forever, and it's like, yeah, but I mean, like Army Painter didn't really need to. They're just trying to make a shit ton of money off John Blanche's name.
Yeah.
I will say, Games Workshop, if they were smart, would have done that years ago.
Yeah, I
Like
guess,
from a monetary standpoint.
Right, but remember, they never actually ever put an artist on a pedestal.
No, they've
Once.
never done that.
Yeah.
even though, their company.
Who
would,
put out Rat Spike? Was it GW?
I don't know. That's Ian Miller and John Blanche.
Yeah.
And,
Was it GW proper?
no, it can't possibly be. I don't think so. Anyways,
Because that
it
would have
doesn't
been
have
like the one fucking cool thing they.
It doesn't look like a Games Workshop publication at all. Like it has none of the features. However, the Blanche set
yes.
doesn't seem entire like the
John Blanche.
Yeah. I'm
Well-
looking at the same thing.
I imagine that John Blanche was like, yeah, send me a giant thing of all the colors you got at Army Painter, and I'll pick out a bunch.
Yeah.
It was
published
Games
it.
Workshop.
They did publish.
Wow,
Rat Spike.
they published Rat Spike. That's like a kind of a crazy little book for them
Crazy.
to put out.
And you could buy it right now on eBay for $465.
I would rather print it at Mix'em.
Yeah, I'm sure you could find a PDF and print it. But yeah, it looks like he probably just kind of picked colors off of a sheet and said, I would use that, I would use that, I would use that, I would use that.
Yeah.
And it's interesting color palette. I mean, like totally. I
I
think
don't even know what it looks. I don't know what colors are in it.
There's
I
two
imagine
sets.
it's like
There's two sets.
there's two sets.
yeah.
Yeah. This is, and then like one of them has like blues and greens in it too, and it's like I don't know, like
I'm gonna look it up.
yeah, look it up.
Looking it up live.
I think that like you hit the basic color, like there's a bright yellow in there, which it's not ochre, but it's a bright yellow.
Yep.
There's a bright red
Yep.
in there, and then there's like some shades and stuff. From what I've heard, the shades are pretty neat, like the Grim Wash or something it's
Yeah,
called.
yeah.
It seems pretty neat.
Grimdark Shadow, by the way.
Finally,
Grim
a
Dark
wash
Shadow.
for us grim
Oh,
dark
my
guys.
goodness.
Moonbeam Yellow. That's a good name.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
actually, I really like that color.
Yeah. I think that the bright colors are interesting. A lot of the darker colors you could get by mixing whatever's left over on your wet palette to like make,
Or just dip it in the paint water.
Do you think
Yeah,
that
your
this was
paint water.
painted using the paints in the set?
No.
The cover art?
I think
I don't know how much painting John
know those-
Blanche is still
those
still up to.
apps that like the color picker apps.
Yeah. Yes.
Like you put a mini in there
I
and
wonder.
I guarantee they just did that and then went, okay, we're going to make these now.
Send these out to Blanche, see if he signs off on them,
Yeah.
and Blanche goes, "Yeah, those are pretty cool."
Well, do we
yeah.
not remember when our good friend Goobs did that with Goblin Green?
Yeah.
He went to the paint store and got, I don't know if did he get a
I
gallon?
think you got a gallon.
A gallon of Goblin Green mixed at the paint store?
He said,
It's just like-
match this color paint. And they went, okay.
Okay, sounds good. And that's like really, I
Yeah.
love how many paints there are in a hobby when it's really just paint. Like it's just paints.
yeah.
You know?
Here's the hack, gamers. All right, listen up, gamers.
Some
Go
paints
to
are better, though.
go to
No,
Home
totally.
Depot with a Blanche painting and ask for the colors in the painting.
Yeah,
There
Home
you
Depot,
go.
Can you match this for me? But I would say, yeah, everybody has their own little paints that they like. Some people like heavy body acrylics from Golden or whatever, which is probably what I'm going to go towards using.
Good color selection.
A good color selection, a big ass tube that'll last me the rest of my freaking life, and then I don't have to mess around with this tiny 2-ounce model color bottles or something and be like, crap, I'm out of brown paint. How am I going to make this?
I wonder if you can get a little converter tab, like top. So it's like a
that would
little
be cool.
little dropper out of it.
I
so
bet
it's
you I
not,
could.
Yeah, so you don't got the big like pinky hole at the end.
That's pretty cool. And if it doesn't exist, you could 3D print that.
Oh,
shit,
absolutely.
I'm sure
it exists.
Yeah.
Found a 3D print the other day for reusing your Swiffer wet jet.
What do you
Okay.
mean reusing
All
your
right, sell
Swiffer
me on
red
this.
jet?
Door-to-door salesman Gage.
So you have a Swiffer wet jet. That has
Yeah.
a little-
I do have one.
Yeah, I
Okay,
have one
so
as
you know
well.
how you have to buy the proprietary containers every time you
Oh, that gets my goat. You
when
know,
you run out
Yes.
of it.
Oh,
Yes.
that gets me.
Yeah. Well, you can 3D print a bracket,
Oh,
So you
this
can
is
just-
what 3D printing is
so you
for.
can just
know.
refill it and not buy the name brand shit anymore. You can just soap and water in the wet jet.
See, but they have the problem too where you have to buy the Swiffer pads. You have to buy the
Can I 3D
specific
print a
pads.
pad?
Yeah, and you can scratch the fuck out of your floor.
Works great. Wow.
Yeah.
But I think that the Blanche paint set would be fine. I think you should get it if you really want it.
I think it's fine. I
It's
just think
just colors, yeah.
yeah.
Well, I'm not going to buy it, but
No, yeah.
you know, that's a good like birthday gift, like family member type thing.
Yeah,
Like,
are you
someone
asking
wants to
Terry
get you
and I?
something? No,
Yeah.
definitely. I don't want anything from anyone.
Happy birthday.
just saying,
to
guys,
Steve.
you know, anyone that's listening.
My birthday is coming.
you know, you
Just
can
FYI.
FYI.
to Steve.
You guys could just buy me the Blanche set. Oh, there's 2 sets? Oh, there's 2 friends right here? Oh, weird.
You know, if you guys, I'll send you the Google Doc.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's the best move. Google Doc
Dude.
with links directly to what you
Here's a
want.
little photo. Here's
oh,
a link.
God, it's the best.
I did that one Christmas and it still didn't work.
Yeah, wow. It's
Like
gotta
everyone
work better than-
demanding like Christmas gift recommendations. You're like, all right, here it is, and then everyone still just doesn't.
Does their own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they buy the wrong thing, or like, again, not ungrateful comment. It's
Yeah.
if you are handed the instructions and you choose to not use them, and then the response is, why did you do that? You cannot be upset. You
Yeah.
are not allowed to be upset.
Yeah.
You know? That's it.
Anything else you've been working on, Steve?
No. None of that past 10 minutes was anything I was working on.
Well, I know, but I forgot we were doing that. I've been, I painted all my Skavens for the first Warband.
I saw them.
Skavens, yes.
Yes. We played a game too. I played against Tyler.
Yeah.
Me and Dark
How did
Tyler
it-
played
how
a
did it
game.
go?
Well, I whooped his ass, which I didn't expect. I played one game of Regiment's First You, and it was 750 points. And I remember thinking about the game like being like, I'm a little confused, but it was kind of fun. I'm happy it's over. I was like, well, never have to play that again. That was cool. And then I was like, well, okay, I want to do this campaign. I want to play at least one game for each of these sections, each of these 6 like rounds or whatever. And Tyler hadn't played his game, so I said, let's play. And I don't know if it was just like, oh, I remember some of the things about our little intro game or what it was, or just reading the literal 1 page of rules and watching a 12-minute, that Stone Horse Gaming or whatever you can find on YouTube.
I don't
which-
even know about this.
It's just like if you put in 1 page rules, regiments, how to play, there's like a 12-minute video that
Oh.
shows you the very basics.
That's awesome.
I watched that. I read the book, or I read the page, and showed up and didn't have too many questions. Most of my questions were about morale, but I was having so much fun. Like so much freaking fun.
It's wonderful to hear. What was really sparking your joy?
So I've loved horde armies forever, you know?
Yep.
I love movement trays so much. It is so fun to just slide this whole block of dudes up,
Yep.
and then they're fighting, and then when they die, you just take them from the back. It's no like measuring how many of these things are within 3 inches of blah, blah, blah. How many of these things are base-to-base combat. Oh, I'm consolidating 3 inches. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. None of that, dude. I got base-to-base, 2 freaking blocks of dudes fighting each other. When they die, you take them right from the back, and that is it, dude. I was like, oh, man. This is a different game here. This is a different game entirely.
Reject modern rules.
Yeah. It was
Return to the classics.
it was really cool. It felt like streamlined.
Those are modern rules.
Well,
Great point, Gage.
listen.
But I really,
you
really
flag,
liked that. I liked not having a ton of shit that felt like I had to like manage it. Even though I did have like a good amount of rats. I liked that the models that I made all felt like cool to see them on the tabletop because I had like rushed like base coating to
Yeah.
paint them. I just wanted to get them painted. So I had said it before, your models don't need to look good to be painted. So I wet blended base coats all over these things. And then I was like, I'm going to go back and highlight them and make them look good later. But even just those base coated kind of splotchy minis on the table, like the Doom wheels that I did, I was like, these look so cool. It is just so much fun just like sliding these little things around and making them do battle. The rules were simplified enough, like I said, that I could understand it.
And you guys played with some of the advanced rules because I had you do it and you didn't even realize it. But
You're an advanced
you're
gamer.
an advanced gamer now.
Yeah, baby, I'm a tactician.
You're an AG.
Yeah.
And the more I've been thinking about my army, the Skaven army feels like the first army I've ever made that
Feels yours.
feels mine. And I was thinking about that on the way to school today. I was like, man, My AOS army was mostly kit bashed. It was like a lot of it was kit bashed, or the zombies were from all different makers and all 3D printed, and some of them were like, Mantic sculpts, blah, 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 blah. And the army felt cool, but for whatever reason, this Skaven army, it just feel like it started from absolutely nothing. I was like, I want to speed paint Skaven. I want to do this thing. I got halfway through it and was like, meh. And then as soon as I slowed down enough to give each of these blocks of dudes, like the clan rat blocks that have like a little unit filler diorama in it, they're all nicely painted. As soon as I slowed down enough to enjoy making one block of dudes and then moving on to the other block, and then when I started hot gluing together those doom wheels to make them all work, and then those became solid, and I started to paint those, and everything started to come together. And then from there, like having zero lore and then just slowly building that lore up as you finish things. And now like the story for my Skaven, I think is the coolest story I've ever come up with for any army. And it's leading me to now be like, oh, I want a unit of rat ogres, but like the rat ogres are going to have corn influence because like there's kind of this chaosy shit that's happening through my army, and so there's this whole story I'm telling that I've never really had before. I've had small stories, there's like, oh, this is why the Vargeists look like little clouds because they do this. This is how Mitan and Nezarat's relationship is in my AOS army, in my Soulblight army. But this feels like, oh, I have this grand plan going, and each of the little pieces kind of make sense for the narrative. It feels so cool. Plus the painting style, I'm like, I haven't had an army with like this kind of new sort of painting style that I'm really enjoying doing, and it's just, I don't know, everything is just like it's I'm
coming
so
together.
I'm just so excited to paint them, and I'm so excited to kind of keep moving forward with this campaign, and I had a blast playing, so it was nice.
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
Because you are a living embodiment of what I was hoping for people getting out of the campaign is I'm excited to play a game. I'm excited to paint models to put on the table that are mine, and I'm going to ride this out, and it's going to evolve. It's going to create its own story as we're playing and getting into all these games.
Yeah. And I think that it's a combination of like Regiments is slightly more complicated, that actually like probably twice as complicated as their Age of Fantasy rules or the Grim Dark Future rules.
Do you think so?
Just because there's like all of the pivot things, and then there's
it is a table that is 4 words and then maybe like a couple of numbers.
I know, but it still just like adds that extra element. However, my problem with Age of Fantasy was Gage's problem with Age of Fantasy, that it just felt too rules light almost. Like it felt like you were not like, I don't know. I'm excited to play Grim Dark Future. We had talked about that, like maybe kind of going back and seeing how that feels.
Like in a Warhammer 40K sense, like playing an old, like an old style game.
Totally. But when we played Age of Fantasy,
it felt like a baby game.
It felt like a baby game. It felt like I wasn't really doing much, and like the magic was especially like,
I think the magic is abysmal,
man,
as we obviously can tell.
And so there was a lot of things where that game didn't really feel fun too, because you were coming with like a wizard heavy army, and you're like, this just sucks.
I
it's
have
not fun
3
for
spells.
Me.
It's not. It doesn't evoke anything. The spells in that game.
Yeah. And so I felt like Age of Fantasy was kind of like, and then I felt kind of the same way. Future Firefight is pretty cool, and it has things that I would take out. And Grimdark Future, from what I've seen in the small games that we've played, it's all right. But this really felt like I was playing a game that felt like a game. It didn't take us long; it took us like an hour, but it felt like it felt beautiful, and it didn't feel like I kind of won like a cheap win or whatever. Like I had to think about.
You guys
my
had
plays.
a back and forth.
Yeah, and it was cool. I just like I can't speak the Regiment's hype enough. Like it was great. It was so much fun.
I think that means you're 2 for 2 because you beat me when we played.
Yeah, but like not in this campaign. I'm only 1 for 1.
No, I know. I'm just saying for your overall record of playing this game, you were undefeated.
Well,
it's pretty good.
Good.
But I think it just goes to show the rule set. I mean, it gets a lot of hype from me specifically, just for a reason. And I mean, that's the big one. Is it's easy to pick up, it's easy to play. There's definitely a learning curve. There's a way to master what you're doing, but anyone can just pick it up and play.
Yeah.
Easy to learn, hard to master.
Yes.
A lot of games that aren't skirmish games, I end up leaving the table going like, thank God that's over. That was a slog. You know, it just felt like so much moving stuff around. I lost track of where everything was. And you're just like, at a certain point, 2 rounds into a AOS game, sometimes I'm like, all right, I'm ready to, go get home, pizza and not do this for a while. Regiments didn't feel like that. I finished the game and it literally immediately was like, I can't wait for the next one. And that night went home and like thought about the game. And that's never really happened with any of the big army-wide games before.
That's awesome.
Super cool. On top of that, I was painting an Inquisitor model that I bashed using a big old Beastarium mini that you printed for me. Mm-hmm. And I put a little falcon on his shoulder. I gave him an axe that, dude, all of the 28 millimeter shit just fits perfect.
Yeah, because it's heroic scale.
I just like, you had always said it and Tyler had always said it.
Yeah.
And I always felt like, I don't know, it might look weird. It fits perfect.
Yeah. Well, it's like using a GW head on a parry guy. That's where you can see it on the other side of things. But when you put it on an Inquisitor model, you're like, oh, this just fits anyway.
Totally.
Because it's heroic.
And so I'm excited to play Inquisitor. I'm really, honestly, truly excited to play Inquisitor.
The second, I'm finally over with this England trip. Peter pulling me from the depths to come to England. But once it's over, I am so excited to paint my Gene Stealer.
Yeah.
I have to fix my guy. He snapped out. Oh, I guess I did that too. I made a 54 guy.
You did make a 54 guy and broke a 54 guy.
Yeah. Well, because the model I was given by Brad, very cool Arcoflagellant.
Dude, you're harping on Brad.
I know.
Lost 4 games.
I know. No, this is a good thing.
He gave me a model that broke.
No, I broke it. I put it in a carry case and then threw it in my truck. And it snapped like it's 1 foot on the ground. It's in a running pose and it snapped right at the ankle. And now I'm going to have to
tactical rock.
I'm going to pin it. I'm going to pin the shit out of it.
Yeah.
But, sorry.
No. That was pretty much it. I made this guy. He was supposed to be my Inquisitor. The more I look at him, the more I'm like, he'd be a good interrogator, which is like they're kind of, apprentices, or he'd be just like a good dude in the retinue, like just kind of a weird guy who follows the Inquisitor along. So I'm still sort of thinking about who would lead my crew.
You should do a second guy, because if you do that, then I'll do a second guy.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'd like to do 3
a true
guys to start
Inquisitor.
with. 3 guys to start with, I think feels good.
3 guys. If we each had 3 guys, it would be a 14-hour long game.
Really? You think so?
Yeah.
Oh. I figured that like 4 guys.
For a hobby project, I think 3 is great.
Yeah.
For playing, I think 2 max.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you could get away with 1? I haven't really.
Absolutely.
I've read the rules. I breezed through them. And like I said, it just, in past episodes, it feels
this
like
play
an
group,
RPG.
Probably 1.
We got to watch a video. I know there's a video out there explaining
absolutely.
how to play.
Yeah.
There's a couple. I can link them too. But yeah, for how we would play, 1 to 2 max.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not carrying past 2. I have my Magus and I have a pure strain Gene Stealer, and I'm like, that's it. That's fine.
And a pure strain could be a bad guy.
Oh yeah.
guy.
I'm definitely gonna try and be a bad guy, but the pure strain is such a good it's a 28 millimeter scan that I upscaled, but it's just such a menacing
I've
pose.
seen it.
It's just
so
like
good.
such a like
It has Gene. It's literally when you think Gene Stealer.
Yes.
It looks
like
whatever you're thinking in your head. That's what it looks
exactly.
Yeah.
It's like there's no mistaking that this thing will fucking kill you.
like. Yes. I wanted a Terminator so bad, but I know that it would be absolutely huge.
I also think it's like, I feel like Space Marines are kind of frowned upon in the.
They're broken rules wise. They're just strong as shit.
Making a bad guy though, bad guy Terminator running around.
You just murder everything. Just blow
You all
up
have
an
to
entire
team
planet.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I think it would be I think it would be very interesting to see where a Inquisitor campaign would go in this group.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's like, okay, we can tell a direct story of Terry's guy versus my guy.
Yeah.
And like, okay, what they're doing. Because it's an RPG.
Why are they here?
Yeah, it's an RPG at that point.
I'm sure there's got to be tables of like why your guys are at this place and what the story is.
The book is great. It has everything. It has everything you would want.
I wonder if Inquisitor is one of those games where we could all collectively kind of GM ourselves, like come up with a scenario ahead of time where it's like, Like, we could even work together co-op.
Yeah.
And it's like you print a ton of those Gene Stealers, and we're on like a Space Hulk investigating something, and
Big Space Hulk.
yeah, big Space Hulk, and all of these guys come running. We're just like bang, 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 shooting, and trying to accomplish our goal
Right.
together, almost as
Right.
a retinue.
But here's the thing, right? If we're gonna do that,
Oh yeah,
why don't we just do it 28?
dude.
Which we should.
Yeah.
Listen. This was my gripe with playing 54 millimeter.
Yeah. No.
Totally.
It's got to be exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Like, we play it once, and if it's really cool,
We
Sure.
take what we want from it and put it into 28.
yes. Because we don't have the terrain, we don't have the space to be doing 54 shit all
We're gonna have
the
to buy
time.
another studio. It's a different scale.
No. Yeah, I don't know. We talked about this last time, but the
Yes, and the time before.
I know. 50. There is something kind of magical. I mean, I was the biggest 54 hater here. I was just
absolutely.
like, I do not want to play it. It sounds so dumb to just start playing 54. And to a certain degree, I still understand that. However, painting up this 54 millimeter guy, I was like, it's kind of cool to see something this scale.
So you want to paint all the terrain for playing 54 then?
No.
You want to? Oh, all right.
No.
You want to build all the 54 millimeter terrain for us?
No.
Oh, okay.
But it's the same size. Come on.
Yeah.
You saw
I
me
mean, the Space Hulk we have
sticking
is,
that big guy through the door hole of the little
Yeah.
28 millimeter
Yeah, it's like,
scale. Or it's
hello.
just like, hello. It's just looking like a giant.
The Space Hulk from BroPro is still around.
well, because it doesn't have to be a Space Hulk. It's a
Spank
downed
Hulk.
it's a downed Thunderhawk gunship that a
Yeah.
guy's running
Yes.
around
Yeah.
in. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That is a huge burden with all this Inquisitor shit. It's just like why not play with all of the different terrain that you already
To
have?
be fair, not to harp so much on it, it's like that with most system changes anyway. If you're a 40K player and you get into historicals, you have to now make all new terrain.
Yeah,
I think it's a little different.
It's yeah. I mean, if you're a fantasy player and you are getting into 40K, okay, well, I want cool buildings. I want cool blown up ships and stuff. You have to.
However, all of the boards we have could be played with Inquisitor 28.
Yes,
Mordheim boards, perfect.
1000%.
That
Yes.
weird skull board I made,
Yeah,
perfect.
perfect.
You throw a couple little sci-fi bits on there, done.
Yeah. A feudal world or like some backwoods planet.
I mean, that's just the hobby, right? It's like I don't want to play in feudal world anymore, Terry.
I want to go. I want high gothic.
I want high gothic, Grandpa.
Then you print out all of the Ians of Battle Patreon terrain.
Oh, don't
Dawn
plug
of
that.
Worship.
Don't plug that.
Hey, listen, it looks good, man. I don't know what to fucking
looks
tell
great.
you.
It looks
It looks fucking fine.
Yeah.
You know?
It looks great.
Yeah, it looks just like out of Dawn of War.
Yeah.
It's cool.
It's cool. Anyways, speaking of regiments, this is a good way to probably segue into a little, topic discussion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
listeners, our main topic today. We're talking about how to build your community and how to play games that you want to play.
Yeah. Not shitty 40K forever.
So, we were talking about. We always go this back and forth of it's a show. Hivescum is a show that is now at 50 plus episodes. How much of this is advice for new people versus fart jokes and soundboard?
Please chime in. I really want to know so I can stop making jokes about one or the other.
So the thing is, we want to go back and forth on topics that are helpful for new people, but also at the same time, we are bombarded with people wanting to build their own community,
Yes.
see more of the indie games in their area, and I think people are overthinking it tremendously.
What do you mean?
I think you have to be your own salesman in these situations. You have to be your own pusher to
totally.
get
Good X-Files episode.
to get
Great. That's a good X-File episode. Yeah.
to get the scene that you want. You have to build it, right? The ongoing bit of this show is we're gonna have 52 episodes of saying DIY or die. That's all it is. How many times can we reskin this topic?
It doesn't have to be. That's the podcast.
That is the podcast.
You don't like it? Get lost.
Get out.
Get out of here. Stop listening.
So today's topic, though, is people wanting to play indie games in their local scene, but they have no one to play it with.
Yep.
It's as simple as being the change you want to see.
Yes.
Starting the game, running it for other people, and growing it from there. Perfect example, regiments was not a thing in this friend circle for anyone. We were like, OPR was like talked in the shadows. Oh, it's easier than that 40K game. It's easier than fantasy, whatever.
And I remember being turned off about one-page rules. I was like, okay,
right,
cool.
like we just said,
with one page.
it felt like a baby game.
Yeah,
It was, yeah. But Steve slowly championed
I said,
it.
fuck you, I'm playing this game.
Steve slowly championed it and brought it into a full campaign now that has, 20 people playing?
No, it's 12? 12 people?
Okay, well.
12 people,
But still.
but that's 12 people playing, not counting the people that are like adjacent in the area that want to play but can't devote to a full campaign.
Correct.
Yeah.
But these also 12 people that are building, painting, etc. for specifically this campaign.
Yeah.
This
For
is
the most
something
part,
this
yeah.
is something that can happen in someone else's local area.
Yes. It's hard.
It is hard. And these things aren't fast. You have to run
Yeah.
a demo. You have to
Yes.
run if you buy a 2.
Does that work, running a demo? Do people do that?
Absolutely.
Because I feel like
That's how we got into Gaslands.
Was it?
I was playing Gaslands before that.
Well, no.
That's-
But the new...
In when we were going to the Battle Standard, we went to Gaslands night, and we were like, oh, there are other people that play this, and we learned more about how the builds worked. And RC Cars guy,
Yeah. Mhm.
we were learning all these different things about the game because we went to a demo. Another aspect of this is street teams. Realistically, if you reach out to Steve and you're like, and this has happened in the past, hey, I'm running a Flames of Orion day. What can I do to make this better? Or what can I do for Steve's going to send you resources. You sent Mike the rules. You said, this is what you can do for it. Here's what we did for the packet.
Or you be someone like Master Blaster.
Come
Who's
up with your own.
Absolute champion.
Right.
Come up with your own supplemental rules and make your own shit up to go with the game, and then
Yeah.
write your own scenarios and do your own whole thing, make a narrative thing out of it, and people will see that and be like, what fucking game are those people playing over there?
Right. And that's the top end of it, right? Like, you're getting people involved. You're getting people to play the game in that area that no one probably knew anything about Flames before that.
And I think you can tell, like, in our Patreon episode this week, we talked a lot about our local game store. Mm-hmm. And we bashed on it a little bit because, you know what I mean, they've kind of moved in a different direction than they were. But when we first started going there was people playing Gaslands.
Yes.
And it was
It
really
was
cool.
indie games often.
Yes.
Yeah.
But even if you have a local game store and you're going to these things and you're like, well, nobody here is playing these particular things, you can tell. Even if you go and there's a bunch of people playing 40K, you could smell the freak. You could smell the freak in there.
Well, there's two types of smells that you can
Well,
have in there,
you know
but,
what I'm talking about.
I mean, it's as simple as just even asking. Like,
Yeah.
hey, do you guys play other games?
Totally.
Yeah. And then I think games like Trench Crusade, I know it's a buzz topic, and
Boo.
everyone has their opinion on it right now. I think although it is becoming the de facto indie game, for lack of a better term, for these people.
Yeah.
You ever heard of an indie game?
Yeah, it's like it's those people that are like, oh yeah, I do indie games all the time. This $6 million Kickstarter. It's like, okay. However, I think games like that are going to open the door even more so for those kind of people and make it easier for you to, oh, okay, well, if you like Trench Crusade, let's check out Last War.
Yeah.
It's like Trench Crusade, but like looser, and we can
But-
make it more of a role-playing game.
Just so you know, I wasn't booing Trench Crusade.
No.
I have no interest really in playing Trench
You
Crusade.
can boo whatever you want.
I'm
Hive's
not
gonna be.
booing.
Boo.
I'm booing the idea
Boo.
that every video on the internet right
Yes.
now is Trench Crusade related. That I am booing.
How to paint your
because
Trench
it's buzzy.
Crusade models with the John Blanche paint set.
Yeah, it's buzzy. It's buzzy. But I don't know anything about Trench Crusade really, which is a weird thing because we inhabit this Indian world, and I'm like, I don't know.
That's the thing. I mean, this is a whole topic in itself, but that that game is so far above the indie scope, I think, at this point. That
I hear you.
it's getting those people that are questioning what indie is, and they're indie curious. they're getting
indie
into it.
curious.
Right. So like Steve said, it's just simple as just asking those people, oh, okay, you are stepping out of the GW door.
Yes.
Going to play Trench Crusade. Well, what if we played a different game?
Which might be massive for... I never even thought about that aspect of Trench Crusade. Just like how... Like, I mean, every video on the
40K.
internet is Trench Crusade related right now. Everybody's putting out like how to paint Trench Crusade. The idea that people who only know... It's like people who only... They're like, oh, role-playing games, D&D?
And then Morkborg comes out.
Yeah, but like...
Dude, I actively know many people that are like D&D is the only thing they know.
Exactly.
Right.
And Warhammer is a lot of times the only thing that wargamers will know.
Yep.
And so now they even realize there's another game. They made a different game.
Exactly.
Boom.
This is the first time they're being
saw it
exposed to this.
With
Yeah.
my brother. I'm talking about one page rule. He's like, oh, what is that? Is that like a different rule or something? Like, he didn't even know that Age of Sigmar was a different version of Warhammer.
Yeah.
No, it's a whole different world.
And then
baby.
being like, you can still play Warhammer stuff in one-page rules. And he's just like, I don't
get it.
I don't understand. So you
Right.
don't have to play 40K.
And I can see it in people's faces when you say stuff like that, where they're like, well, I need to get like different models then. Like, I can't just play with these. These are for this game.
and that's
like,
another point I wanted to bring up is once you get into those kind of conversations, you have to be your own salesman, right?
Yes.
You have to like, well, no. I know you. I could see it on your face. Like, you can still play with your GW guys. It's fine.
Yeah.
Where it's like skirmish games. That's my jam.
Yeah.
Every week I'm bringing a new skirmish game into the group, being like, we got to play this. We got to try this out. This person made it. It's awesome. And it's like, those are such an easier pill to swallow than if I was like, guys, there's a new rank and flank. Everyone has to come play this instead. But it's all sci-fi.
But it's also like if you were to come with like, guys, there's this game 1490 Doom, and you have two fully painted little 3-man
Yes.
crews.
Yeah.
1490 Doom is an easy game to get into with like just some randoms at your shop, especially if you roll up with it's only 6 models.
Yep.
You could have 2 crews, have the cards already printed off, and be like, this is how this game works. Play it in a half hour. Chances are, whoever random person is going to have a half hour to kill. If you're like, yeah, come roll some dice over here, and they'll probably love that game. It's really good.
Which goes back into the being a salesman type thing.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah.
If you want to see that change in your store, you unfortunately have to be the guy to do it.
Yeah, totally.
The other thing is that it will always bring up adjacencies to the hobby that is also great for a community. Okay, so you're playing with this person who is indie curious, and then you guys go to another game, and then you realize, okay, well, you guys have this in common. Oh, now you're starting a conversation about the other things that you guys have in common. You're creating more of a community where it's like, okay, let's go to a show together, or like, this other person, I know this guy who might be interested in this because we have this kind of other thing that's in common. And
you like Lord of the Rings? Let's go see the new Lord of the Rings movie.
And then it starts from there. Okay, yeah, well, it turns out there's a Lord of the Rings game. Like, you build a community based off of such a simple thing as going, hey, do you want to play this new game? I have the starter set for it. I will teach you.
Yeah.
And it's like probably our number one ask question is, how do I do an Inq28 event? Or how do I get involved in Inq28 in my local? And it's like,
You probably got to do it yourself.
you have to do it yourself, and you have to be the one to...
Or you got to drive it very far.
yeah, that too.
It also doesn't need to be big. And I think people see like Brothers of Prometheum and they see the pictures and they're like, I don't have 40 friends
Listen,
to come
we
here.
know-
Brother, I wish I didn't have
We
40
didn't
friends.
want 40 friends.
yeah. And I think that's like the biggest thing is you can have the most fulfilling hobby-wise campaign with 6 people, with 5 people, with 4
You do it with
people.
2 people.
You could do it with just
You and your
a
buddy
buddy.
could do a campaign together.
Flames Day is still... Flames Day,
There's
Last
a lot
War
of people
Day,
there.
still some of my favorite things over some of the bigger events we've gone to. Just because it was more personable.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, shit. Because then at a bigger event, right, like at Hondius or Brothers or anything, you can't stop and yell across the room to your better friend or your best friend and be like, yo, do you know what just happened? I want to tell you about it right now.
Yeah.
Where if you're playing like when we did last War Day, we're all in one room. All the boards are right next to each other. And we're like, oh my God, guys, Steve just got this relic.
Yeah.
And
I got the
like,
submachine gun.
everyone's like, holy shit. And like it creates such a different vibe.
I forgot about that.
I think it's
that was so funny.
I think it's like
or
a better
Paul
vibe.
Paul at everyone on the Discord being like, I found the relic.
Yeah,
no
these
one can
4
have it.
items were claimed in the campaign, just so you know. And then a bunch of people being like, yes, sir.
Yeah. A Discord with like 2,000 people in it. Yeah, I think that it's almost more interesting to have a campaign that's not super huge.
Yes,
to have like a regular
absolutely.
meetup with your
And campaign
friends.
is also a loose term.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to be like okay, well, for the next, you're not going to go up to a friend or someone that you're like becoming friends with and say, okay, so for the next 12 sessions that we play, this is what we're going to do. It's like, whoa, no.
Yeah.
It could be 2 sessions.
I mean,
Yeah.
I still think Mighty Empires would be very sick.
I think it'd be great. I think bringing a Mighty Empires campaign to a random is...
No. I meant for us.
Oh,
like
yeah,
in
yeah.
the studio, we have a Mighty Empires campaign.
Listen, that's my most read rule set at this point, so...
I think that like if you go to your local store or even online in Rust We Trust community, but also just like there's a way where you can find out the guy who even knows what Necromunda is in your
Yes.
local scene.
Yep.
And as soon as
a
you
good
have
starting
that
point.
guy, as soon as you have that guy who knows what Necromunda is, then you can be like, do you want to play a game of Necromunda?
Yeah.
And you could play a game of Necromunda and be like, do you want to try out this other game that I heard is kind of like Necromunda, but it's even easier?
Yeah.
And see if you like it.
Right.
Or you could try out, like, that person is going to be more open to a little skirmish game like 1490 Doom or something than the person who only plays war-sized, perfectly painted Ultramarine guys.
great plastic.
Yeah, or gray plastic. Like,
Right.
finding that, like, just the little tinge of freakness, you could pull that person into your crew.
No matter what, you have to be the shepherd to get to that point,
Yeah.
though. That's the thing. And going back a little bit, I think Hondius is also a perfect example. I was listening to that in the 32 podcast that just came out about the 28 hardcover.
Yeah, beautiful.
You grabbing that?
That I will. That's like I haven't spent money in a long time. That is like such an easy buy.
300 pages for hardcover.
Oh, yeah.
6 volume. I'm stoked. But the episode they went over it, Hondius is such a good example of the low bar of entry. It was at a library.
Yeah.
It was free.
Yeah.
It was free to go there. And because everyone will say, well,
It's free to set it up.
my local game store sucks and I don't want to like interact with those kind of people. And it's like, well, it is still a pool of something you have in common and you can pull from that pool
And you
of
can
people.
gatekeep.
And
I love gatekeeping.
in its healthy extent, like to a healthy extent of gatekeeping what you want to see.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah. If you want to only play with skirmish games and you don't want that Ultramarines guy, that's fine.
Poor Ultramarines guy.
In that, I think, is a lot of people gripe on that is I don't have a bunch of people to play with, and it's like maybe some people have a harder time like meeting people to do these things, or they don't have the best pool of people to pull to do these things.
Right.
And, like getting people, like, how do you get your buddy who doesn't care about Warhammer to play Warhammer with you?
And, well, that's the thing. You're grasping at straws that probably weren't going to work anyway.
Yeah, like you just are in a. It's just
It's
a
different
bad
strokes
situation.
for everyone.
You're
no
gonna have
matter
to
what.
drive a little further to go find your crew.
Yeah. And that's the thing. We've seen it before with friends in Canada using flyers for their gaming group, and them getting a 15-person group from flyering telephone poles. Like,
And I think that is that's super smart. If you have
Yes.
0 people and the people at your local game store are just not interested at all, like having one of those little pull tab flyers that go in the middle of the town square where
if
they could just take your number.
anything that you're stoked on, if you see that on a telephone pole,
Yeah.
I'm immediately enthralled because
Totally.
someone has gone out of their way now to advertise this freak thing that I'm into on a poll, hoping that someone else is going to. Dude, I'm calling that number instantly.
And like if you get one person, you can have a fun little game.
And that person most likely has another person that's interested.
Exactly.
And the chain starts from there. All of this, granted, we have a podcast. It's a little easier for us to be shepherds of this community, right? All of this, though, started with us going to stores and being like, what about this person? You want to play crazy models? And then now they're part of the War Council. Or it's just, it snowballs. And I know everyone says, well, you guys live in a more densely populated area or this or that. It does not matter.
Yeah.
I mean, I still drive. To go to the Battle Standard, it's 40 minutes for me.
Yeah.
To come here, it's 40 minutes for all of us.
Yeah.
So, like, nothing's 10 minutes away. And if it is, you're fucking lucky.
And if it's 10 minutes away and you haven't made a scene yet, well, that's more on you than anything.
Yeah. Like, if the game store's next door and you're not going there and fucking blowing your trumpet, like, come on.
The other thing is, you know that game that's like the circles that swallow the other circles and they get bigger?
Pac-Man?
No. You know what I'm talking about, though. It was like an old game. Not even an old game.
Oh.
Yeah, you know. And you're like a circle that floats around. You eat the other circles and you get bigger.
Yes.
And then you're trying to eat
There's many iterations of this game.
There's a fun game I play on my phone, or I used to play on my phone like that.
It's like Flow.
It's kind of like Flow. It's
Yeah,
not that,
yeah.
but similar vibe.
Yeah,
Anyways, though, the listeners will know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, like, sometimes you think that you're the big circle and you're floating around and you're like, man, I'm just trying to soak up these little circles that are kind of interested in this
Right.
game. And then you get soaked up by a bubble that you're like, oh, my local scene had this giant freaking grimdark wargaming club that happened in so-and-so's basement bar or some shit that I had no idea.
Go back to the Croatia episode of Hive Scum and Cameron. Cameron lives in Richmond and had no idea that Honeyus existed. If Cameron granted, this isn't harping on Cameron. I love Cameron, but if he wanted a scene and put up flyers, he would have bumped into one of the greatest gaming groups in.
Gone to Battlegrounds and put up a flyer. Someone would have texted Mike and been like, "Yo, do you know this guy?"
That would have been an instant
Get him to come hang out.
come to the circle type moment,
Right?
So
Like-
I guarantee you're always at least 2 steps away from that anywhere you go.
And you might not know. And like you might be sitting there being like, I wish I could start a gaming group. And sometimes it's all about just like putting yourself out there, and then you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to bite you.
Right.
Or going to the closest, like, you know, like we're all saying, we all live far away from the studio where we record and mostly play, and we all live far away from even the local game store, which we used to go to. You might need to drive an hour to the local city, quote unquote. It might not even be a big city, but if it's just like a smaller size city, you'll probably find people there. I almost can guarantee you will find somebody there if you live an hour away from like a kind of city.
I guarantee you.
Guarantee, yeah.
And like everything we just said, if you compile all of the things we just said into one helpful point, it's that once again, you have to be the change you want to see.
Yes.
You have to stop messaging Hive Scum Podcast on Instagram asking how do I do it? You have to go to a store.
If you want to know, though, you can call this phone number. 860
and ask for Phil. Beep.
Beep. You beeped. You self-censored. Thank you, Gage.
You're welcome.
What was I going to say? Now I got distracted by this crazy phone number thing, Steven.
You were going to say about how...
Be the change you want to see in the world.
Oh,
We
yeah,
already
yeah.
said that.
No, but he's trying to help me out. He's trying to spur my little thoughts.
You got to drive.
You do have to drive, but start thinking about what your scenario would even be. Like, you know, before you even have those people to hang out with, before you even have that group, like, think about if you were to tell a story, if you were to have a day where things happen, if you, like, what system would you want to play? Like, what, you know, there's a lot of different systems.
Oh, yeah.
And you may not have a system in mind. You may not, you know, it might be as easy as being like, I want to play Last War, but you might be lost in this sea of things that you don't know what you like, in which case you need to figure out that first.
Yes.
Then you need to figure out, or I would at least figure out, like, okay, if I were to have these people playing with me, if I were to have 2 other friends, 4 other friends, whatever, that are going to come over and play, what would be my scenario? What would be the things I'm trying to do? Can I start cultivating those ideas now? Mm-hmm. Then, when I find these people, they can just sort of get tacked in. And then you're like, oh, I have this idea for this planet that ships crash on and they can't escape from. And there's these oases and, you know what I mean? I don't know. It's just weird. Prometheum, I don't know, brothers of Prometheum, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden it's like that grows and grows and grows and grows. But it's because the idea was already there and then you start building it once you meet the people that you want to.
And the thing is, some of those people will also blend their ideas into yours,
Yes.
and it infinitely stokes the fire, and you get stoked on it because it's now a collaborative thing.
Yeah. Just like that. And people have something to sink their teeth into. It's not just two dudes hanging out and being like, you know about this this model maker on Instagram?
Yeah.
Just take a look at their, well, pretty good, huh? And you maybe heard about one-page rules? Yeah. Seems pretty cool. But it's like you already have a firm foundation. Like
Yes.
you should try and play the game.
Yes.
Play it solo. If you like the idea of Last War, if you like the idea of Forbidden Psalm, try and play it just by yourself with a bunch of dice that are stand-ins for models or something. Like, who cares? Just play something.
It does not matter. And
Yeah.
the games that, kind of going back to the start of this whole thing, if you are in an area that you have no one that even knows what turnip is,
Yeah.
you have to put the work in to show it to other people.
Totally.
But it doesn't have to be what turnip is to the world. It could be your interpretation of turnip and then showing it to your local freaks, like Terry's saying, with stand-ins of proxies or whatever it may be. These games didn't get huge overnight. It took communities like this to get it to that point.
Totally.
I mean, you could take even that same point of presentation of, I have a friend who has a mild interest in miniatures and wants to play a game. We're going to play Warhammer, but you just use one-page rules because it's easier.
Yeah.
And then that's like, yeah, we just played Warhammer. And they're like, oh, that was so cool. And it's like, I want to do it again. And then you play again. And then you slowly start feeding them the things they're looking for.
Yeah.
It's all it takes.
It really honestly is all it takes is like just putting in a little bit of effort to figure out who's out there. So instead of just like sitting in being like, I can't find anybody to play with it, I wish there was somebody else, start putting in just the smallest amount of effort. And I guarantee that like things will happen that will send you down a path that you will find the gaming group and you will find these situations that you want.
And you'll get in these situations where, okay, it does turn out that your local store sucks ass and you do not want to go back there. You're probably sharing that viewpoint, though, with the people that you've met along the way.
Yeah.
And then you can do something about it. Then you can go to a library and host an event, or host an event at one of your houses, or and once again, event does not mean it has to be a 10-plus person thing. Event could be 2 of you. It could be
you rent a little room at the library.
It could be anything
or your
that
basement.
is a set amount of time for you to do this cool thing. And once again, just because we love narrative events doesn't mean it has to be narrative.
No, totally.
It's anything. And you could apply this to board games, to card games, to weird sex things. It could be anything.
Damn.
Just be the change you want to see, you know?
Yeah, that's the change.
Yeah.
Amen, Gage. DIY or die,
That's
baby.
it. Go to the Weird Sex Things channel in Rust We Trust Discord.
No, you don't want to go there.
No, don't go there.
Thanks for checking out this episode of Hive Scum. If you aren't already part of the community, check us out at the In Rust We Trust Discord, which you can find down in the description below. If you have questions you'd like to ask us, you can find our Instagrams down below as well. Or feel free to ask away on the Discord. We also have plenty of extra content and other perks available to our patrons on Patreon. So if you're interested in helping us keep doing what we're doing, then you can find that description below as well. Until next time, folks, keep it grimdark and keep it grimy. Peace.